All right. We jamming right here at FUBU Radio, the best, and I mean the absolute best of hip hop and R&B. If you want to know who's rocking out, that's DJ Herc on the set right there. He in the pocket, and I'm your girl, Chrys Childs. This is The Blend.
Absolutely. What up, Chris?
What up, Herc?
You glowing.
I'm glowing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's that good music you playing.
Oh, you think so?
You know what I'm saying? You know, I was in the mood, but now I'm in a better mood.
You got this little Meth and Mary J look today. I like it.
Oh, you like that, right?
I like that.
I'm taking it back to the 90s.
I peeped it.
Back when all you needed was some lip gloss and some baggy jeans.
Oh, nice.
I'm taking it back.
Nice.
You know what else we taking it back? We got to get excited because we have a special legendary guest in the building today.
I'm honored.
Honored is an understatement.
I'm like starstruck. I'm going to be honest with you.
All right, well, we're going to reveal all of that later and let the people Google it, or maybe we'll surprise them. I don't know. We'll let them know when we come into a break, but I'm not really quite ready for that.
This is a different one. This is a special one.
This is a special one, but first and foremost, hey guys, make sure you're following us at Official FUBU Radio. You got to know what's going on. You want to stay involved, get in the polls and everything, because every day we're dropping something new, something going on, and honestly, this year is getting to a good start. It's great weather. I'm a little freaked out, but happy at the same time. Mm-hmm. How do you think this is going to work out? Do you think that we're going to have a super late and short winter, or is it going to be prolonged? And maybe we might miss spring.
I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a short winter, but it's going to be a brutal one because we still got February, so I'm a little scared. I'm about to put on the snow tires. I got to relax.
I want to wish that it's going to be a great February because remember, birthday twin, our birthdays are coming up.
Oh my God.
And
say that one more time, please.
Our birthdays are coming up.
Yes.
But I don't know, as long as I can remember, it's been freezing on my birthday, and then like last year it wasn't. So remember last year was mad warm?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I'm hoping we get the same weather though.
I know we're going to get the same weather.
Okay.
We're going to wish it into existence. This was a great year. However, it is a bad one for species. There's a huge brush fire going on in Australia if you live under a rock. Our climate is changing so much. It's honestly, global warming.
Jesus.
And for those of you who don't think that's an issue, I mean, it honestly starts with you, and this is the planet that you live on. This is the planet that, the rest of our species, mankind, will live on, so you got to treat it right. Actually, global warming is happening at such a rapid rate that where the seals, they actually go and they mate and they have their children. They do it on an ice cap.
Nice.
Last year, in 2017, the entire ice cap melted before the seals began to swim, so the entire population died. So that's how much global warming is affecting us, so you guys have to be mindful of it. And don't get caught wearing shorts in New York City because by the end of the night, it will be 30 degrees. You got caught out yet?
Never, nah.
All right. What's going on? What you got coming up?
You know me, man. Sunday brunch, everything. I'm still flying on them planes. Might catch me in Atlanta. Might be back in Texas. I'm everywhere, man.
You waving the flag? That's what I heard you was doing.
Yeah, always. Because it's important that we wave the flag. Important.
It's totally important. Listen, I don't know. If you're on track for manifesting your goals, do so now. I think it's a vision board time.
Yeah.
So I definitely tax season.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think now would more than ever would be a great time to manifest, especially when you're thinking about claiming your taxes right now, because it's a nice little bulk of money depending on the situation that you're in. And
find yourself some kids.
You know what?
I'm joking.
Well, what I can tell you is to do the best thing you can do to maximize your refund, so that you may use that money and not give it to your ex-boyfriend or your boyfriend to go flip it.
Okay.
But what you can do is actually start a business instead.
What's some do's and don'ts with your tax money? What's some do's and don'ts?
Don't give it to your boyfriend who said he's going to flip it. And I mean not the long-term boyfriend, but the boyfriend that only comes around when it's tax season. Don't try to flip it.
What do you think about those ladies who go out there? I call them the temporary get fly ladies. They go about these fancy bags and these elaborate things. Invest it.
What I'm going to say is if tax money for you, because depending on what your situation is, if tax season is a situation where, why are you laughing?
Because there's just so many people that do the tax money wrong.
They do it wrong every year, but you know what? It's a new decade, right? We're trying to lead people in the right direction, but it's okay to buy a couple of things for yourself. Listen, I get it. You want to be fly, but don't chase a temporary fly. So that's definitely a tax.
Okay, so that's a tax.
But invest in yourself. It's free to start a business with the EIN number. Try to maybe buy clothes for yourself in a boutique. Do a drop shipping store. If you're gonna buy clothes for yourself and you want to get fly, get something that you can get a multitude of that other people can buy from you.
That's true.
Let your flyness influence people. So there you win this too.
I agree.
Is that what's happening?
I agree.
All right. What about you? What do you think people shouldn't do? Because some men do date women for the tax season.
Don't sell your kids. That's number one.
Don't sell your kids.
Yeah, don't sell your kids. And if you've been on the corner drinking Hennessy all night, every day, 365 days a year, don't try to claim self-employment. Like a lot of people don't claim.
I mean, how do you know it's not self-employment? Maybe he's like a neighborhood watch. Now you gotta get creative. Like everybody needs a job. Everybody does something. I mean, because the guy on the corner usually tells you what's going on. If it was some drama, no?
You're right. Okay, so I guess that's a self-employment. Another thing I would suggest: don't buy something that you can't maintain. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take your tax money and put a down payment on a Ferrari, and then next month you're not driving. So,
you know what? We're gonna leave that to the professionals. I'm actually gonna have a guest up here in the next coming weeks, and we're gonna talk about taxes and how to build businesses. So we're not gonna go too much into it. But I do want to touch on our special guest for the evening that we are gonna have. We're gonna have the legendary Vereen.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about decades of success, decades of talent, decades of just like rubbing shoulders with the creme de la creme.
Listen, I was talking to him before he got on the air because I was listening to his stories, and this guy, I could just sit there for hours listening to his stories, man. So he's amazing.
No, he absolutely is amazing. And before we actually bring him on, I just want to touch on something that I've always touched with you guys. And we talked about the homeless epidemic. So we're going to talk about a lot of that with Mr. Vereen and his partner George, because they're working on helping with that. And one thing that is actually phenomenal, that when celebrities or anybody legendary talks about any epidemic whatsoever, it's not just about endorsing it, it's about being involved, and I'm actually looking forward to hearing what he has to say. But the homeless epidemic is something that's like super personal to me, because if you live in any urban city, whether it's Miami has a huge homelessness issue, but they're protected by the warm weather.
Absolutely, yes.
But also Miami Florida, I should say, doesn't have any state taxes, so they don't get the same benefits as the people up here in New York. So there is no state institution that's going to help the homeless.
Right.
But what I can say is the homeless in New York, there is 61,000, I believe.
Man, it's sad.
Honestly, if I did the numbers right now for how many homeless people are in the United States, we've said this before in a past show, there are vacant homes.
Well, something, I agree with what you're saying, and it's a touchy subject because people out there are starving, and what bothers me is that they show more give money to dog commercials than give money to homeless human commercials. But that's another situation. I don't get.
I don't think. You know what I think the problem is? It's the mistrust, and we don't know where our money is going. Is it going to an organization? Is it going to actually help these people? And I think a lot of it has to do with research on our end, and we don't really humanize the situation. We humanize dogs. We humanize, what's happening in other countries. One of the things that I will say is we are quick to donate to, remember when Notre Dame burned down?
Yeah.
And how quick they got the funds up for Notre Dame?
Yeah. But
now we have the fires in the Amazonian, and that's going for weeks. And now we have the fires in Australia that are burning a huge percentage of wildlife. And it's phenomenal how we can't come together and bring money when it counts.
Well, I think America is too busy taking care of other people, and we have problems in our own backyard. That's just my opinion.
It's just about how we spend money. Even we're joking a little bit about tax season and not how to spend your money, but it is about how people spend their money. Because let's think about how many times men gone to the strip club and burned $3,000, on just a fun night. But we have crime in our own backyard. We have institutions that won't help us when we could be helping each other. Actually, one thing I wanted to bring up, Akon is in the works of building his own city in Senegal. And I want to highlight how important that is.
Yes.
Because how many, I sit here and I'm like, let's go to Wakanda. That's the beginning and the start of our Wakanda. We have to take our money and pull it amongst ourselves. If you don't have it as an individual, there's plenty of rich people out here, but our cause has to actually be the head of the table. It has to be big enough for us. We're raised here. We're Americans. For those of you that are listening in the United States of America, whatever your nationality is, you are a part of your nation. You have some heritage. And one thing I've always said, as African Americans, we don't have any heritage right here in the United States of America. Our heritage comes from slavery as minorities, Black people, and absolutely Latins. So let's not forget that. So when you're taken from your country, you don't have any heritage, and this becomes your heritage, and we're still fighting this. You know, the roots go so deep. So I'm not gonna get crazy, but the reasons have to be big enough. And if we can build our own city and we have the resources to do so, why not? Right?
I agree.
You like that? We're gonna be dropping jewels this whole show. We're going to be teaching, we're going to be listening, we're going to be learning, and we're going to have our hearts open, all right? So, again, this is FUBU Radio. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to The Blend. I'm your girl, Chrys Childs. This is DJ Hercules on the set. Hercules is going to make us feel good, and when we come back, we're going to have a special guest, all right? So stay tuned. Make sure you're following us across all social media platforms at Official FUBU Radio. Your girl, Chrys Childs, Chris with a Y, don't ask me why, and DJ Hercules _787. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for tuning into FUBU Radio, the best of hip-hop and R&B. I'm your girl, Chrys Childs, and this is The Blend. And as promised, we have a couple of special guests in the building, the legendary Ben Vereen and our friend George. How you doing, guys?
Doing very well. Thanks for having us.
That was really cute.
I made you laugh already?
Yes, you did.
I like that.
Yes,
you
you
have a
did.
great
It's
energy.
wonderful. Thank you. So do you.
Thank you so much. And a wonderful smile.
Thank you. So do you.
Oh, so I have some questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have some questions. First of all, I am completely amazed and thankful that you are here.
Thank you.
You are a legend in, just not in my generation, but my father's generation, my grandfather's generation, and
And
actually,
your great-great-grandfather's.
yeah. Well, not that far.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I actually
go
had
that
to,
far back.
not that far back.
You know, I tell people I go back to Moses.
All the way back to
All the way
Moses.
back to Moses. I tell people, say, I'm the guy, I just told somebody, I'm the guy who told them, you only need 10, Moses. You only need 10. Come on. No, not 20. 10.
Oh, we could probably sit here and listen to your stories forever and ever and ever. But you are a legend. Everything from dancing to stage, Broadway, acting. I mean, it's amazing. One thing I want to say is your longevity is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
And how does that make you feel, just knowing that you just keep going? Because I know we're getting ready to talk about your other projects.
No,
but
that feels very. I thank my audiences for that, because believe me, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have an audience. If we didn't have if the public didn't say, yes, thank you, and so we thank you for tuning in and for helping me with my career all my life. Thank you.
thank you. I think that's amazing. You always have to remember to bring it back to the fans
Yes,
first.
you've got to, because we're not here by ourselves. If they didn't tune in, we wouldn't have a radio station.
Absolutely.
If they didn't come to my show, I wouldn't have a career. And so, I try to remind young performers in my teaching classes, when I teach master classes, I try to instill that into them. Remember that you're not made by yourself. You are preparing the way for people to come to you and say yes. So be kind.
Yes, be kind. Actually, you beat me to the punch because I was going to ask you what you have, any advice for these young performers out here and their longevity.
Be kind.
There you go. He said it again. All right. And you won so many awards. I'm talking about my dad was like super excited. He's like, you're going to see Ben
Really? God
Vereen?
bless him.
And he was just telling me all of the accolades. And I was like, Dad, I know. But he was telling me about the stuff way before, even as far as roots. So you honestly are a cultural legend and people don't understand. So everybody who's listening, if you don't know who I'm talking about, I need you to Google it right away because this is a part of a culture. Thank you.
That's a very special thing to have, and it's a big responsibility, and I'm honored to have that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so humble, more than expected.
Well,
Glad I could make you laugh. I think I'm going to try to do that for the rest of the day. All right. So, Ben, let's start by telling us what you're working on now as far as your projects and performances.
I'm working on the homeless situation.
All right.
So that's why George and I are here. Show business, we'll be doing, we got projects, but this is most important to my heart because like yourself, I'm sure, we walk through our streets and we see our brothers and sisters.
It's not looking too good. We need help.
Yeah, and this guy, I'm sorry, I get choked up about this situation because, this, George is kind enough to have me come to a memorial where we memorialize the four brothers who were beaten to death in Chinatown, and that's got to stop. They were by the grace of God go you and I. I'm a neophyte. I know nothing about what's going on in the homeless. I did a movie with Richard Gere where I played a homeless man who lived in a shelter. In my research, I went to the shelters. I lived on the streets, but it's not like living on the streets.
Right.
And when you live on the streets, there's another culture that's going on, and I know nothing about it. we as a society really don't want to look at it and don't know anything about it. So therefore, we are all neophytes. And in order to help our brothers, we must understand what's going on. We need to talk to them, and we need to help government realize they got a responsibility and to do it rather than making money off of it. I'm sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry. But,
No, there's nothing wrong with saying that.
So that's my passion right now, is that. And we are working on something this year to bring awareness. And what I like to say is, it's not about, you see, the word homelessness is already negative. So our thing, what coming to the table, is I want to turn that term around and look at the glass not half empty, but half full.
Yes.
You know, that we've got to stop looking at it as a negative and look at it as a way of positive, you know, at the good things that are going on for the homeless, to embrace that and lift it up higher. That way we will not solve it, but we'll fix some of it,
Yes.
and eventually then people's consciousness becomes open to it, and they begin to fix it.
Right.
Because they say, that's my that's me. That could be me. Thereby, by the grace of my Creator goes me and my family.
Exactly. I think that's where the disassociation is here. People don't understand that you can literally be one mistake away from homelessness, and by not humanizing these people, we're not understanding that, you know, they just got there by accident. And the way our government is set up, the way our systems are set up, it's almost like a catch-22. You're in a cycle that you can't get out of.
Exactly.
So tell me about the homeless and what part are you doing in everything, George?
So I work at an organization called Care for the Homeless. We've been doing this work for 35 years, which, you know, I will underline what Ben is saying. That's 35 years too long. We really are trying to put ourselves out of business, but unfortunately, we've got more to do than we would care to do. Last night, there were 60,000 people sleeping in the New York City Department of Homeless Service shelter system. 60,000 people. The population of Utica, New York is 56,000. So we had more people in shelter in New York City than the population of Utica, New York. 21,000 of those were children. Now, in New York, it's a good thing that these folks are in shelter. In other places in the country, there are a lot more people on the street. But we still have about 4,000 people living on the street. So we remain very concerned about them, because they're not even they don't even have a roof over their heads. They're not even getting food and social services.
Right. That's not even including people, like you said, that didn't even register to go into shelters. There's too many people in the streets.
Yeah.
I actually read a report at one point that they said there's actually more vacant homes in the entire United States than there are homeless people. So obviously consumerism and making money is our top priority as Americans, and we forget to, again, be one with each other because we're humans. It's only one species.
And our particular approach, you know, and one of the reasons I think that there's such a great synergy between Ben's interest in the organization that I work at is that we are very much focused on solutions to homelessness. We're not about going out and constantly complaining about the problems. We're trying to find solutions. And one of the solutions that we bring to the table is healthcare. We've been providing healthcare to homeless and unstably housed people for 35 years.
Wow.
We served over 7,000 people last year with healthcare alone. We operate 2 shelters. We also provide healthcare in drop-in centers and soup kitchens. And so very often a health crisis will precipitate an episode of homelessness, and it's really hard to end an episode of homelessness without having someone's health stabilized. And so that's kind of exactly where we work.
See, that's the wonderful thing about, you know, my association with them. That's why I'm with you, George, because of the fact that they are about the solution. And I didn't know about them. I didn't know that, you know, these guys out there helping and healing and providing health care for them. And they need to know this, you know. So when I pass one of my brothers or sisters on the street, I could say, like, the other day, I was walking to a market, and one of my brothers walked up to me, recognized me. You know, he said, "Oh, hey, man, how you doing? Are you still dancing?" Da, 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 da. I said, "Yeah, man, you still dancing?" He said, "Yeah, I'm doing the best I can." And he said, he asked me for something, and he said, you know, they said, I hope my finger, he said, it's all, look, his finger's all messed up. I said, you know, there's a group called a Caring Foundation that you can go to. You should find out about them, man, and find and get to them. But so wonderful about the Caring Foundation, they go out in the streets and find you.
Oh, wonderful.
That's what they go out and they find you.
And how does that take place? How would they go and do that? Is this through a truck, scouting?
Well, we have 26 locations throughout New York City. It's really important for us at Care for the Homeless to provide quality health care. We in no way, shape, or form believe that homeless people should get substandard health care. In fact, our mission is to provide health care of the quality that the three of us get or better, because many of these folks are living with chronic illnesses and they deserve far better care. And so we've got multiple board-certified physicians, we've got nurses and nurse practitioners operating at the tops of their licenses, but it's if we are going to be successful, it's only by increasing the quality of the service that these folks get. And we do that at 26 different locations throughout New York City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been to one, and it's really wonderful. I mean, it's beautiful. I went to a women's shelter in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, yes.
Yeah, and I met with the women there. And as I said, I'm a neophyte. I walk in, and I'm hungry to learn.
Right.
And then once I know, then I can do something about it. And so I encourage them to talk about the situation, talk about what is not being done, and what can we do, and what can we do together. And also, there comes a point where we got to recognize the fact that there are those who really need the help. Then there are those who are taking advantage of the help, and we got to weed those people out.
Right.
Ben, I'm going to correct the record a little bit here,
Okay.
because Ben is being very modest.
Okay.
First of all, when he came to our shelter and met with a group of the homeless women living with mental illness who we serve, his connection with them was immediate, it was real, it was authentic. They were walking on clouds for a few days after that, and it's just because of the human connection that he made. And also, there are a lot of celebrities who get involved in various philanthropic causes. I've never seen anyone dig into the information as intently as Ben Vereen has. Ben is learning. He wants to understand the issues. We could not be more thrilled to have a person of Ben's stature as a spokesperson
George.
and getting the message out there, but he's also digging in and learning a lot about the issue, and I am blown away by that.
I mean, honestly, that's actually very amazing. You
I
have
got
to
to know
connect.
here, care for the homeless.
Love it. So let's talk about how people can actually get involved for those people who are listening, because I know, like myself, I live in New York City, I take the public transportation, and you see, again, people who are on the train day in and day out, and, then you don't know who's pretending and who's actually needs the help. So for people who do want to give, what is it that they can do? Because that's where I feel stuck sometimes.
One of the things that I would do is direct people to our website, www.careforthehomeless.org. First of all, you'll learn a lot about the issue. You'll learn about the services that we provide. We try to use our website as an educational tool to help people understand what homelessness is all about and how we are proposing solutions to solve it, and hopefully delivering solutions on a daily basis. And those who are so inclined and want to support that effort, we've got a donation key on that website, and people can go to that and provide us with some resources. Every dollar that we get goes towards improving the services that we provide. So you can be very assured that that's a good investment. It's www.careforthehomeless.org.
And what may I tag on to that, we've come to the table to do a fundraiser, if I may, a gala on October 5th at the Gotham. We're planning my prediction is it's going to be a big show.
It's a big
but
show.
The idea is, yes, we need the funds, but also to make people aware and to raise the consciousness that this is about the solution, people. The problem's over. The more you complain, the more you remain. Now's the time to step up and claim the victory.
I like that. It's a good.
If I may, we were talking about gala on October 5th, and I'm excited because I was watching TV one night, and on New York One was the New York City Jazz Ensemble, and these cats don't just play; they play, and so it came and said, perfect. Let them be the entertainment for the evening. And I'm going to talk to some of my friends. I'm not mentioning names yet because we haven't contacted them. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I'm asking them to come out, especially the theater community, to be a part of this because we're in your streets. Mm-hmm. We're in your streets.
Right here in New York City.
So please, let's help clean up the theater district, clean up Harlem, clean up Chinatown, clean up New York.
Yes.
And so it starts here. And it starts here. If this program works here, then we got a key to help it across the country.
Yes.
It starts in New York. Let's be the first.
Let's be the first. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions of the homeless and how we can
Yes,
change that
yes. George,
and
please.
dispel it.
You know, I think the main misconception is that homelessness is a characteristic of a person, like being tall or being Greek or something. And in fact, we start with the approach that homelessness is a condition. And that's an important distinction between condition and characteristic, because if homelessness is a condition, we can treat it. And we think that we've got solutions on the table. We provide shelter services at 2 shelters that serve people living with serious mental illness who have either been living on the street or have lost their homes. We've got on-site health centers at multiple shelters. We've got standalone health centers at various places, soup kitchens, and in communities where homeless purposes are concentrated. And so we believe very strongly that homelessness can be treated, it's a condition, and that person can leave the condition of homelessness and become housed and healthy and lead a productive life again. That's really the place where we begin.
Yeah, I've seen that. When I went to the shelter, you know, it was wonderful talking to the women.
And you were wonderful with them.
Roof. I'm getting emotional, I'm sorry. Them talk about the fact that how this program has changed their lives. And they talk about getting back into the system and working the system from a new perspective, not from a defeatist attitude, but from a conquering attitude.
Right. What do you think is the percentage of homelessness due to illnesses and sickness and not having health care or just not being able to get a job? Like, what is the difference?
You know, there's a lot of causes of homelessness. The high cost of housing in New York City, the income inequality, healthcare, mental health issues are certainly a significant part. And frankly, racism plays a huge role in creating homelessness. You know, if people in our society were prevented from getting mortgages, for example, because of who they were. They didn't build that intergenerational wealth that allowed many of us to have a leg up in life. And so there are many causes of homelessness. Healthcare certainly is one of them. We think that about 1/3 of the people in the homeless shelter system have a serious mental illness or some kind of physical disability that has precipitated their homelessness.
What can we do to help the homeless, the individuals are just affected by not having a job? Is there anywhere that we can direct them or help them?
You know, when folks come into shelter, they can get an array of services. And so even, you know, we run shelters for people with mental illness, and even we do a lot of work trying to help people get back into the workforce. And so, you know, if there are people out there with businesses where they're looking for employees, we've got great employees who are very dedicated and very grateful to have that job. You know, there's lots of things that you can do as a New Yorker to help.
You know, one of the things that came to the table, we asked, what is the one thing that bothers you, you know, and they said the way the public looks at us. You know, they look at us because we're homeless. They look down on us, and I think that's something we've got to correct. You know, and once again, they were by the grace, go you or I. And also, speaking of homeless shelters, when I speak to some of the people I've ran into, then I say, why don't you go to a shelter? They say, because they're not safe. Some of the shelters are not safe. I'm not talking about our shelters. Our shelters, we take care of you. But there are shelters out there that are not safe, and we've got to correct that. So the people who are on the streets can feel safe when they go into a shelter and get the help that they need.
Right. All right, George, tell us again where we can get this information and where people can find you.
So we are Care for the Homeless, and our website is www.careforthehomeless.org. www.careforthehomeless.org.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I want to
Mr.
thank
Vereen?
FUBU for taking the stands that they're taking with us and making this out to the public. And God bless you and thank you. Thank you, Blue Fire.
Thank you. We're so
Thank you,
happy to
Chrys.
have you here. All right, I have one question before I let you go.
Yes.
All right, so with your legendary career in meeting almost every celebrity possible, was there ever a time that you were starstruck and just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting this person?
I'm still starstruck. But we were talking earlier about a man whom is our hero. And he will always be at the forefront of, when you talk about heroes, he is one who is truly considered a great hero in my eyesight, and that's Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Running with Muhammad Ali and hanging with him. But I've met many. It's hard for me to pick out one. I mean, come on, I'm Martin Luther King. I've been around. I've been around. And the reason why I point out Muhammad, we were just talking about him, and I got to sing to him before he made his transition.
Oh, wow.
And I sang a song called "For the Good," and the song basically says that because of you, man, there's us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here at FUBU Radio. Thank you, Mr. Vereen. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Chris.
Everybody make sure you follow Care for the Homeless. Again, this is FUBU Radio, The Blend. I'm your girl, Chrys Childs. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms and get involved in the conversation. All right, we'll be right back. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. This is FUBU Radio. I'm your girl, Chrys Childs. This is The Blend, and that's DJ Herc on his set, just on the ones and twos, doing his thing, just making y'all jam out. Y'all jamming out with us? Or no?
Yeah, I didn't know they jamming.
They jamming. All right, as always, we're going to make sure you follow us because we want to make sure you get involved in the conversation. We had a legendary conversation with Mr. Vereen and George from Care for the Homeless. And listen, like I said, if you don't know, you need to Google it because if he's not your favorite, chances are he's your father and your mother's favorite, grandparents. I mean, I'm talking about like longevity. One thing I always say to my friends is like, I'm not going to be disrespectful to the money. Because how can I be on a hustle train, but yet I'm going out and acting as if I don't need it?
That's a dope saying.
So I'm never disrespectful to the money, but, you can't be disrespectful to your fellow humans. How could you be disrespectful to someone, who's just in a bad spot? And that's like disrespecting yourself, because we're all of the same DNA, essentially.
I agree.
So thank you, Mr. Vereen, for coming in. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely.
What else did you gather from that?
I was, to be honest with you, I was just happy to be in his presence, but just hearing him talk and for him to be around so many legendary people, but like you said, still have a heart for, the people below him that just, quote unquote, that's under him. It's amazing, and you can hear passion in his voice. To be honest with you, he embodies the quote that says, you have to judge a person on how they treat both the janitor and the CEO. Absolutely. If you treat them any different because of how you view their place in life, then you yourself aren't a good person or a full-rounded person. So, with that said, this is FUBU Radio. We want to make sure you stay involved and in the know. This is The Blend. I'm your girl, Chrys Childs. Remember, follow us at Official FUBU Radio. Follow me, Chrys Childs, Chrys with a Y. Don't ask me why. And if you want to get more information about Care for the Homeless, it's careforthehomeless.org. All right? And make sure you follow Vereen. Get up on that. Get on some Roots stuff. Watch a Broadway play or something. Be cultured. If you don't know, now you know. All right? For us, by us, FUBU Radio. All right? Keep it locked.